Hi, KMS. Welcome to your second day of tech. Today we're going to get right into it. We're going to write some code. We're going to use Scratch in order to bridge your gap from either no knowledge or base knowledge of coding. So you understand block coding. So then hopefully when we're back in school or even if you're remote, we can move on to more complex codes in Vex, and then we can start to build mechanisms and work that electrical engineering into it. So the way that you code is you're going to write directions for animations in Scratch. You're going to have access to this website. So first you want to join Scratch. So please visit Google Classroom and you're going to click on the link for your group. This will help you sign up for Scratch. And then once you're in Scratch, looks like this, you're only creating code. Okay, so you can on your own time view code or play other people's code. When you're in class, I don't have time for that. You need to use your time wisely, so make sure that you're only coding. So to do that on the top left here, once you're signed in, you're gonna be able to create code. So we'll let this load for a second here. Please, for this example, while we're learning the code, just use the sprites that come with the library. And by that, I mean you have different characters. These characters are sprites and they perform on a stage. You can pick any character you want from the library. There's a bunch in here. So the cat is like the general like icon for Scratch. But if you want to pick something else, you're by all means you can. So you can pick like unicorns and rainbows, whatever makes you all warm and fuzzy. It's fine with me. So I'll use this instead. If you don't want something, like if I don't want a sprite, you can just trash can it and get rid of it. Scratch is set up so that things are pretty and they're color coordinated. So you have coding blocks over here on the left-hand side. Everything has to start with a green flag. So you're going to end up testing out your code. And to do that, you're going to click this green flag. So you have to tell your code with this block that you have to start. You can make a character fall from the sky. So the way that this happens is your background is actually it's an XY grid. So I'll just bring this in to show you because math is cool. An XY grid is nothing more than two number lines, right? So if you imagine that in life, there's a number line that goes left and right, and there's a number line that goes up and down. In the center, we'll say that that's where 0 is. So if you're going to get bigger in the Y, you're going to go up, and this goes all the way up to 180. That's how many pixels there are. Again, if you're starting in the center and you're going to move down, you're going to change your direction in a negative. You can all go down to negative 180y. You can go all the way down to negative 180y anywhere left or right because you have an x-axis, right? So if I go all the way to the left, I'm going negative in the number line versus on the right, moving right on the number line, getting bigger. So that's why this makes sense, right? So I can say, hey, unicorn, I want you to go to a certain spot, right? I'll bring this out. I want you to go to 0, 0. Where do you think that unicorn's going to go? So, go. Goes right to the center, right? Because that's where 0, 0 is. Now, if I want it to go from the center and fall down, it could do that. I can have it go from 0, 0 and then glide a certain amount of time somewhere else. So I can pick another coordinate. So maybe it's like 0 and then like negative 300. Right? I said it can be anything, even it's going to go off the screen that way, but it can happen. Watch. Boop. Falls down. But it only happens once. So if I want this to happen over and over again, I can tell it to do that with directions, right? If I say, hey, keep doing that. That's basically where I bring out this forever loop. This block of code will like surround and like hug other blocks of code, right? So whatever's inside of this loop will be repeated, in this case, forever. So now it's like falling unicorns, but it's only falling from the center, right? How do you think I would get it to fall all the way from the top of the screen to the bottom of the screen? Well, it couldn't start in the center, right? It can't go from the center point. So I'm just going to change this number to be like positive 200. Woo. So now, oh, what did I do? Changed the wrong axis, right? I still want it to fall in the center, So I still want this to be 0. This is what kids do. But I want it to fall from the sky, so way up tall on the Y. So that's why it works like that. Now, if you want, I can even slow this down. Maybe it takes longer. It's going to take 10 seconds to go from this high number to this low number. Now, say that you wanted the computer to pick a number. You can do that. You can have the computer say, you know what, I'm going to pick any number all the way up here, and I'm going to fall down. Well, that number is x. So that's what makes variables cool is, check it out. You can go under here, under operators, and you can say, hey, computer, I want you to pick a number. And as long as it's between negative 240 and positive 240, it'll be on the screen. Yep. Coding is cool because you can right click and can duplicate things, and you can say, hey, go inside here. Boop. Gotta make the noise too. Just it's more satisfying that way. So here you go. So now I'm gonna just do this faster so you can kind of see. So that's the difference. Now I'm just raining unicorns, right? Like your day couldn't get any better. It's amazing. Rains unicorns. Now decimal places matter, right? You're like, how? Well, you can see that decimal places will definitely cause quite the hubbub. So tenths and 10 are two totally different scenarios, right? Because numbers are just representations of patterns. Again, math is cool. So your job today is to make one object fall from the sky. So you're going to do that by picking a sprite from the library and adding this code. Okay, that's going to fall. So that is going to show you in here, slide 3, I'm falling down. You're going to pick a second sprite. Scratch is wicked cool in that you can give it more than one direction. You can tell two things to do things at the same time. So over here, you can pick yourself another sprite. So if it really is rainbows and unicorns, do they have rainbows? Maybe. That'd be cool. They do. Right, so now we have a rainbow and unicorn. Now the rainbow is going to be controlled by you. You're going to interact with it. When I press the green button, nothing happens to this rainbow because it doesn't have any directions, right? It doesn't have any code. Your code is still there on your other sprite. It didn't go away just because you picked a different one, just FYI. So this one, we're say, all right, rainbow, when I start my green flag, I want this to always happen. And I want to say, hey, if I tell you to go up, I want you to go up. So I'm going to use an if. This lets me interact with it and give the code some input. Like, what do I think? So it's going to ask me, like, am I pressing a button? So I'm going to go under the sensing tab. It's light blue. And it says key space pressed. I'm going to change that to say up. So imagine you're the computer. All right, when I press the up button, what do I think this character should do? It doesn't matter that it's rainbow. It could be anything. I want it to go up. So I want to change its motion. In here, we're going to scroll down, and you're really either just changing X or changing Y. Now, remember, we talked about this earlier. There's number lines, right? There's an up and a down, and a left and a right. The up and down is Y. So if I'm going up and down, I'm changing Y. If I'm going up, I'm changing it by a positive 10. I'm going to be lazy or efficient, whatever you want to call it. I'm just going to right-click and duplicate it. Again, if you right-click on anything, you can duplicate it. So I'm going to make this say down arrow, and you're just going to change this code slightly and say, hey, when I'm going down, I'm actually changing it by a negative 10. So these are the same thing, except for when you're going down, you're going negative. Again, I'm going to duplicate this, throw this part away. Boop. Now, when I'm going left and right, I'm changing X. So when I'm going right on the number line, I'm going bigger on the number line. So I'm getting bigger by X by 10. But if I'm going left, I'm changing it by a negative 10. Oop. There you go. Always test your code too to see if it works. So woohoo! Now looks like it does. I'm able to move one character with the arrow keys, and the other character is still falling. It's very awesome. I'm going to save this as game. Oh, spell things properly. And I can say save now. This is going to be saved forever. Okay. We're going to add on to this more. but this is what I was hoping that you'd accomplish today. Okay, folks, you can leave the background anything you want. You're gonna have two sprites. One sprite is gonna move with the arrow keys. The other sprite is gonna fall from the sky. You're gonna save often. I'm gonna show you how to do this during our Google Meet at 7:50 and at 8:15. And if you have any questions, you can email me. All right, guys, have a great day. Thanks.